welcome to the History Lord. You join us here and we're at the bottom of Mill Street in the county town of Warwickshire, which is Warwick, would you believe? And just up the road here in Mill Street, they're laying some cables or something, so there's a bit of noise behind us. But today we're going to have a wander around this medieval town, do a little circular, one of our longer videos today. So we're not going to tell you everything about Warwick, because that would just take hours and hours. So short video, just to give you a glimpse of the county town of Warwickshire. The castle itself was founded by William the Conqueror in 1068, and it was originally a wooden Motte and Bailey castle. And it was in the 12th century that we got the castle behind us, which I think is rather magnificent. It's one of the finest examples of a medieval castle, not just in England and Great Britain, but I think in the world as well. I think it's now owned by the Two Swords Group, or the Merlin Group, who own Two Swords as well. And it's a great tourist attraction. So if you want to find out anything about the castle, come here, have a look. It's marvellous. We're going to head up Mill Street now, and I'm going to take you around into Jury Street, and we'll see another few interesting buildings along there. See you in a mo. So we're wandering up now Jury Street. We're just passing the excellent Fusiliers Museum, and this is our first building of note in Jury Street. And this is the old Civic Hall, the old Courthouse. It was built in 1725, and it was Francis Smith who was the designer. And I understand there is a wonderful old Georgian ballroom in there now as well. The offices now are the local tourist information, so if you want to find out anything about Warwick, come here. I've always got lots of information for you. And incidentally, the site for the courthouse here was given by Robert Dudley in exchange for another place we're going to see just later, which is the Leycester Hospital, which is just down there. But before we do that, we're going to wander around the corner a few more wonderful medieval buildings. So this way. So we're now walking down Castle Street, and I thought we'd stop here. There's a plaque here. We do love a plaque on this channel. This is to mark 1100 years of the town of Warwick, and as it says here, it was Athelflaed? I never can pronounce medieval names, I'm afraid, but she was the daughter of Alfred the Great, and she founded this town in the year 914. It was on an earlier site. They believe there was a lot of activity on this site for years before that, but then it was decimated for whatever reason. I can't find out why. But she built the town here, slightly higher up, but on the banks of the Avon, and it was to try and repel the Danes. And as it says here, a conquest of the Viking Danelaw secured the creation of the Kingdom of England. So well done to this lady here. Now, if we go back a bit, so just back a bit, there we are, thank you. If we pop into here very quickly, this is Pageant Garden, and just a nice little oasis in the middle of Warwick, at the back of the museum and the back of the Tourist Information Centre. It's just rather nice, isn't it? And quiet and lovely. And if we go out here, have a wander around here, back into Castle Street, go past the dispensary, which is where they used to hand out alms to the poor people, and right in front is now a tea room. This is the Thomas Oaken tea rooms, and there's another plaque up here we can have a look at. Which side is he going? There we are. Wonderful. Oh, before we have a look at the plaque, have a look. Marvellous medieval alleyways we've got along here. All down there. It's a very atmospheric place to come, is Warwick. And there we are. There's another plaque to Thomas Oaken. And as it says, he died here in 1573. He was a great benefactor. He left money in trust to help the poor of the area, and I think some of his money is still in the trust, and it's still going strong today. But it's wonderful. Anyway, we're going to go back up into Jury Street, turn left, and did you know that there was a great fire of Warwick? You didn't? Let's go and tell you about it. So we're wandering back down Jury Street, and we come to here. This is the Warwick Unitarian Chapel, and I'm only pausing here because it was behind here on the 5th of July 1694 a fire started in the afternoon. It raged for about 5 hours, but after those 5 hours most of the centre, the medieval centre of Warwick, had been razed to the ground. After the fire it was decided that all the houses, in fact most of the houses, would be 2 stories or less in height. There's a few of them that have extended up into the roofs, but that's fine. When they were first built they were 2 stories, and that was the rule for many, many centuries afterwards. Now, if James does a swing round now and has a look right behind him, that is the Lord Leicester Hospital, and that is our next stop. Follow me. So here we are, this is the Lord Leicester Hospital. It's a 14th century building, and it's never actually been a hospital in the sense as we know them. It's actually a retirement home for ex-service men of Warwick. The building itself comprises of the chapel to St Nicholas the Great, if I remember rightly. There's the Master's House, there's also a great hall as well. There's also a museum in here to the Hussars, and there's also a lovely garden and cafe as well. It's well worth a visit, but I've got a little bit of a passion for street furniture. You may have noticed this with some of our videos in the past, like, you know, farting lamps and things like that. But let's go down and see one of my passions, which is down here. So, looking rather cosy with, I'm going to have to read this here because I've not seen this before. This is created by Escape Art in Stitches Group, and it marks the coronation. And there you see you've got the insignia of Charles Rex. And there we are. It's adorning this very rare postbox from 1856. It's a Victorian Doric column, or it's a representation of a Doric column, and it has a vertical slot, not a horizontal one. There's only 8 of these left in the entire country, and 2 of them are less than half a mile apart here in Warwick. So they're like buses. You wait for ages and 2 of these Doric column post boxes turn up at once. The design after this was changed from vertical slots to horizontal, because in vertical slots the rain sometimes got in, so they changed it to horizontal, and that's it. But a very rare piece of street furniture. So here we are now at the Market Hall. Most market towns had a market hall. This one was built in 1670, and it was William Hulbert who was the instigator of this, and he was a local butcher. It's now a nice little cafe and a museum. It's a free entry museum, so it's well worth a visit. But James, if you'll follow me, we're going to go around and meet another resident who's a bit more modern. So down here, past all these lovely shops. These are Georgian and Victorian in era. And the statue's not being fenced in for any reason apart from they had an event here the other week and they haven't got rid of the barriers yet, so that's all it is. And so we're now entering the market square. There's a pub there, the Tilted Wig, which still serves a brew called Abattoir, I think. There's another famous pub chain up there that has another pub. Lovely little bookshop, as always. And just across the road there, we won't go and disturb the family that's there at the moment. Just across the road there is a statue to Rudolph Turpin, who was a boxer who lived in the local area. And he was reputed to be the best middleweight boxer in the 1940s and 1950s. And in 1951, he beat Sugar Ray Robinson to win the middleweight world title. He had other brothers as well, who were all boxers, but Randy, as he was known in the States, was the most famous. Sadly, when he gave up boxing, it didn't agree with him, and he had mental health issues, and sadly in 1966 he committed suicide. But they've put a statue up to him. He was a local hero, and there he is, Randy Turpin. We're going to go that way next. Slightly risque, we're talking red lights and women's prisons. So we're now wandering down Barrack Street, and this was the red light district of Warwick. Back in its day, there was quite a few regiments billeted around the area, and so this is where the chaps would come for some of their fun. But the building here used to be the women's prison, and if you look really closely, don't have to look that close because it's just here, this is one of the original doors of the women's jail. It was destroyed in the fire and it was rebuilt in 1695, and as it said, remained in use until the 1860s as a women's prison. Now, James, if you just do a quick spin round, there's a lovely old building there with a sundial on the one of the parapets, or one of the gables there. That used to be a pub called the Lamb and Flag, a pub around about 1905, and I think around about that time it was split into two houses that they are now. But there you go. Going around the corner, there's a county hall, a gorgeous street, and a church that sadly got scaffolding on. So let's go and have a look at that. So we just wandered round from the old Warwickshire Hall, which is where the county was run from, and the courthouse. And if James inserts a little video of what he shot around there, there's the emblem, a bear, and that's what people from Warwickshire are called. They're called Warwickshire Bears. So that's what I am now. I'm no longer an Essex calf, I'm a Warwickshire Bear. It does give us a leave to come past here. This is St Mary's, the Collegiate Church of St Mary's. It trains vicars and priests and all this. There was rumours at one point it would become a cathedral, but it's still just a church. It's being renovated at the moment, and there's a little museum in there as well, which is open to the public even whilst the renovations are going on, and it's still open at certain times of the day. Now, this is called Tinker Tank Alley, and it's called that because of the sound your shoes used to make on the cobbles down here. Tinker Tank. There you go. We're heading up here now. We're nearly done for our little wander around Warwick. There's a few more things to see. So let's go down here, and I did promise you another post box. Well, it may look similar to the one we saw earlier, but let's go and have a look at the other 1856 Doric column post box. Let's go. So we're now heading towards the second of our Doric column pillar boxes from 1856, and this one is here by this magnificent building, another 14th century edifice. This is the East Gate, and this was part of the Warwick wall defences. So the wall went all around the town, and this is the East Gate. It was, I do think it was turned into an exclusive Airbnb recently, so if you want to come and stay here, you can. We're going to head through this little archway now. There we are. Information about the pillar box there. Wonderful. Coming to more medieval, wonderful buildings. There we are. So looking straight down behind me, this is Smith Street, and Smith Street was a little shopping street in Warwick now. Lots of medieval buildings along here. Lots of little coffee shops and barbers, and there's antique shops, etc, etc. Not going to take you down there today. Got one little last stop, which is just down there, and that'll be our Warwick wander for today. Come this way. So that's it. We're now back to collect our car. We're in St Nicholas's Park, and that's St Nicholas's Church. We've not told you everything about Warwick, because I think you should come here and find out for yourselves. There's lots of lovely things to see. There's another museum just down end of Smith Street to the Hussars, the park as well. There's lovely riverside walks along the Avon as well. But there you go. Thanks for watching today. Do hope you enjoy these videos. If you do, please subscribe. If you want to see what I do, now that I'm semi-retired, you can still go to historylord.co.uk. That's not a problem. Have a look what James does though. He's really good. He's behind the camera, and that's Last Line Films, YouTube, TikTok, and his website as well. That's it. I think we should go and film another one, don't you, James?
I think so.
Jolly good. Right. The carriage awaits.